Welcome to TradersArmy.com, defending your right to build wealth and preserve capital for generations to come.
Hey Friday, what's up everybody? It's Friday. Welcome to the Friday morning edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. Everybody had an amazing trading day yesterday as we had a pullback from our gap fill location, which we will talk about shortly. We also had, some of our confirmation entries in crude oil making some noise. So let's go ahead and dive right in. For those of you new to the channel, do me a favor, click the subscribe button down below so you get the alerts and the updates as they come available. If you're not new to the channel, do me a favor, share it with somebody who doesn't know about the channel. We're trying to spread the word, spread the love. All right, let's dive in. So the S&P today, we're down 18 points in the ES this morning, but not overly surprised on the pullback as we pulled back from our gap fill level. This was the level that we talked about yesterday in the daily market commentary. So those of you that took this trade, let me know how it went for you. You should be, it's moved down about 20 points from that level. Now, we traded all the way to the very top of the level. So I now need to remove this area and don't want to use this one anymore in the future. So we are coming to, notice above me I have hourly supply, and below me I have 15-minute demand. So we're coming to a 15-minute demand level, not an amazing level, but not terrible either. I don't like the fact though that we almost came into it and then moved away. All right, I liked this level better yesterday than I do today. When we were looking at it yesterday, we hadn't come quite back to the level yet. And so I don't love the basing here that we got just in front of the level. So if you decide not to take this one, I certainly wouldn't be. I'm not overly confident in its abilities, primarily because of this opposing supply level right here just above me, right? This would be opposing supply right here. And so what it does is it takes my reward to risk ratio down, right? My reward to risk ratio gets that much smaller. So I'm not in love with that level. Beyond there, I don't really have a strong level for me to really be a fan of. But if we get a little bounce there, I think you've got a chance to get short again right up in here. Okay, chance to get short right up in this level. Next, inside of the Nasdaq. Now the Nasdaq went just a little bit above our gap fill area, but did not pierce the pivot above here, right? This is the pivot here is what we're looking for. So Nasdaq also moved down. Now it has not moved down quite as much off the highs, off of those levels, and so there's a chance that we'll reverse today. I'm interested to see how we rally up. Do we end the week close to where we started the week, right? So if we get a little bit of a rally up out of here, there's no levels in here that I like very well that I want to add to. If I go to the 15-minute chart, I've got that same supply level that I just highlighted in the S&P here as well. Do have this area right up in here, but I don't like the time of the day that it was created and the time we spent in it going sideways. So I'm going to let this level be completely. Crude oil. So in crude oil yesterday, we moved from our confirmation short all the way down to our opposing level, and then the next time through, we popped back up, right? So no overly big surprise there in crude in the way that price moved, because that would be the way we anticipate price to move, in that scenario. So now when I look at crude overall, I'm looking more into the big picture of, okay, where can it go, right? What can it do? Well, if I look at, I've got supply and demand both above and below me. I've got a number of different levels. It's actually a very pretty picture if you look at, how those areas of demand and supply stack up. And, since we leave the lines on the charts, what we're able to see is where's our next quality supply level? Well, I've got this supply level here, but my next quality one doesn't come into play until up here. And that's a 15-minute level at that. So even that level is the origin of this move down. And I think that leads for some decent reversal potential, but price still has to get there, and we're nowhere near that area as of yet. I've got some demand down below me in here. Looking at where else we could go on a 15-minute chart, maybe some of these levels would be good. But there's nothing here that I really, really like. I want to see, I really wait for high probability and I don't force trades. So in waiting for the higher probability levels, when I go down to this on an hourly chart, I've got to find, okay, quality demand. You could force it a little bit with this area here, right? To me, this area here is probably the only one that I would look at where you're forcing the trade a bit because it's not a great level. We haven't really moved much off of it, but could get a little reversal here. The problem with this pivot is that it's a retest of this area here, of this gap fill area. This area here is not terrible, but I don't like the fact that this red candle wicked up and then the next candlestick we wicked back down. So those two things really kind of negate the quality of this level and of this trade for me. I've got to come all the way down to here for my next level. So the only one I see on the chart is this one here that would be worth its salt. Gold. So gold, we are starting, I said this yesterday, speed candles tend to get retraced, and lo and behold, our speed candle has gotten retraced. Now, we are getting a very, very poor move away from this level. This level here is not giving much movement out of the zone. We've got a little bit of a level here, but what's our reaction off this level? Meh, right, to say the least. So a very weak reaction off of this level leads us to believe that we may set up for a breakdown. And this is when I'm looking at a potential breakdown trade. We'd have to get below here, but I do like the basing for a potential longer-term breakdown trade. If you are, I think that we're still in this sideways price action, but I think we could break down out of that level. Next, bonds and currency markets. As we're looking at our bonds and currency markets in the bond market, we did hit our little reversal point yesterday. Got a nice little move away from our long. So if you took that long, leave it in the comment section down below. Hopefully that one worked out well for you. We traded all the way to the bottom of the level, and so I've got to take that level and now remove it. But level worked out very well, and frankly is still working out pretty well. In the Aussie, we have prices are continuing to move down. By the way, for those of you that watch the DMC on a regular basis, or for those of you in the live trade room, there may be still some of you short from our breakout, right? We had a breakout in the Aussie here, and that breakout occurred on Sunday night, and Monday, early Monday morning, late Sunday evening. And so it's gone down all week, and we talked about, holding on to trades for a longer period of time. If you held on to this for a much longer period of time, then you're feeling great, because that was the breakout trade, is to have the swing trade and allow price to continue to run. Oftentimes, traders are looking to get the quick hit, to try to make their money in a day or in 20 minutes. And the better trades are oftentimes going to last for a full week. And this Aussie dollar is a picture of that. So looking a bit higher now, if you do want to try to re-engage, you got to hope for some sort of a rally back up to supply. And so you got a couple of levels up here that you can lean on. But for now, I think you could get a breakdown at some point as well. All right, next, let's go take a look at the euro. So the euro, we set up our level. Price didn't hit our level, and now actually is breaking down from what could have been a nice breakdown entry. That level is still valid for a reversal if you want to look it up here for price to come back into it. And then the Canadian dollar, we set up a breakdown yesterday. We still haven't gotten to or achieved that particular breakdown. Great British pound and Japanese yen. So in our pound yesterday, we had talked about this level here. Oops, didn't mean to detach. There we go. We talked about this level up above. Price didn't get there. It actually set up nicely on the breakdown. This was the nice breakdown level that we had talked about, was that area there, and it's continuing its move south as well. When I look at this on a 4 hour and say, okay, where does this big move down stop. And, we're still short on a breakdown from this one too. If those of you that took that breakdown and are still short from it, it's working out brilliantly. I don't have any strong stopping point until down in here, right? Until way down here on the 4-hour chart is my next strong stopping point. So shorting rallies into supply levels are going to be the play. Now, this breakout, unfortunately, did not work, but this is why we use the 6-candle rule, right? So you got your breakdown, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After 6 candles, it had really done nothing. So at that point, the idea is take your stop, move it to break even. And then you start to feel much better about the trade, and then it comes back and stops you out. So, this one in my mind, at the worst would have been should have been a stop out for break even. Possibly you could have just taken some money off the table as we are now chopping along sideways. So we're definitely in a more sideways price action at the moment on the 4-hour, actually coming to a supply level here. So if you were very aggressive, I'd be okay with a candle-to-candle short on the 4-hour time period here. But other than that, there's really nothing for me to add in this position. So we're heading into a weekend. So here's what I would say about heading into the weekend. In heading into the weekend, understand that you take more gap risk. And so if you want to hold your futures positions over a weekend, make sure that you understand how options on futures work, and you can use those options on futures to act as a hedge on your positions. So if you have any questions about that, I'll post a link to our options on futures webinar in the comments. You are welcome to go watch our options on futures webinar where we teach a little bit about how to use options on futures. It's a great opportunity for you to go take a look at it over the weekend. That's all I have for you all today. Until Monday, I will see you soon. Later.